Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Super excited today because we're talking DC reels today. One of my favorite topics since I picked up a DC reel and started researching them. I picked up the Curado DC last year and I absolutely love it. And this year I've added to the DC lineup. We are not only talking Curado DC today, we are talking SLX DC, and I'm going to show you guys a little bit about this reel, the SLX DC, and the SLX reel, and really kind of give you some different options as far as price, performance, and fishability. So stick around, today's video is going to be a good one. All right, everyone, super excited about today's video. What we're going to do is we're talking about my new reel that I just got in a few days ago, the SLX DC. As you can see, I have a couple of reels here, all Shimano. I have the regular SLX, the SLX DC up top, and I have the Curado DC on the bottom as well. Wanted to highlight the Shimano line that I have in my lineup. I love the SLX. It's a great reel, great price point on the reel, looks great, feels great in the hand, great palmability, and again, you know, it's Shimano, it works awesome, you know, great product. It's what led me really to picking up the DC version of this reel. So we'll talk about that next. Here, I'll move the box out of the way for us and give us some more room. But my first DC reel was this Curado DC. This SLX DC was not available yet. But I do not regret it one bit. I absolutely love this reel. Loved using it in the 2019 season, and in this season I'm definitely going to be using it more. One is going to be for flipping, and the other one is going to be for a mixture of frogging, a little bit of punching maybe, and some other applications that I might want to do with it. But they're both going to be set up on braid this year. I'm actually going to put some fluoro on the regular SLX this year, and use fluoro on here. My preference is normally I have one reel spooled completely with fluorocarbon. Just a preference. I know some people will put either braid to fluoro or straight fluoro on. I've ran straight fluoro, you know, like I said, here is straight fluoro on here, and I'm going to do the same on the SLX. But really just wanted to quickly go over the SLX DC. Same concept as the Curado DC, you know, just in a different profile, smaller profile. I would say it's definitely feels lighter than the Curado DC. And, you know, obvious finish differences and whatnot. And then obviously the internals, the workings of each reel are different. But what I will say is compared to the regular SLX, there really is no difference. I can tell a little bit of a weight difference. But if you have a SLX, they essentially look the same. Same finish, same color pattern. You know, obviously one is DC, one is not. All right, guys, so here it is. It's kind of covered up with everything else that I got going on here, but we'll take everything apart and pick it apart here one by one. But here is the new SLX DC reel on my rod that I'm going to use it on. You've seen this in my previous video. It's an SLX rod. It's a 7.2 medium heavy rod, and I paired that with that SLX DC this year. And like I said, this year my two DC reels are going to be dedicated to flipping, frogging, stuff along those lines. So hence, as you can see, I've got myself spooled up with some braid already. I am ready to go for the season. It's still early here in Illinois, but I am ready to go once that weather breaks, and hopefully it's soon, so we can get out there. But I spooled myself up with some braid on the SLX. We're ready to go. Like I said, we're keeping it with that SLX rod. Real nice color combo. We've got the blue and black on the reel, blue and black on the rod, and right next to it we have the Curado DC. Now, you've also seen this in my other video, and this was my first DC reel. So definitely enjoying using this reel. Extra excited for the SLX DC. As I said, the SLX, the regular version SLX, the non-DC, which I have over here, was my favorite reel to be using last year. I do like the DC. It has its applications. I absolutely love it. Its castability is great. It casts light lures very, very well, and into the wind and all of that, it excels. It definitely will outperform the SLX non-DC for sure in those high wind situations, sending it down range, you know, with a light lure or into the wind. So that's where these two are going to come in handy. Both of these DC reels have braid on them. They're spooled up with the same braid for the season. They're ready to go. So they're going to be dedicated, or at least somewhat dedicated to that for this year. Main difference between the SLX DC and the Curado DC right off the bat is you'll see size. There's a difference in size. So this isn't on a rod, but you can definitely see the difference in the size. And obviously reading up on it and looking up specs, you can definitely tell the difference. Also, what I'm going to say too is I haven't used the SLX DC, but I have the SLX. The smoothness of this Curado is going to be hard to beat. You know, it's got those internal gears and all of that internal stuff within the reel is great, which makes it a great reel, nice and smooth, really buttery soft action on it, is, you know, and it's tough to beat that. That being said, though, we'll set the Curado DC off to the side. The SLX non-DC was a new addition to the lineup last year, and I absolutely love it. And even my wife loves it. She actually stole the SLX setup that I had when we went out because she liked using it so much. So I went out and got her very own SLX. We're actually going to go pick up a rod for her at the store probably in a week or so and get her all set up for the season. But the SLX, great reel all by itself without that DC in the price point that it's at. I mean, you get a reel for $100, and really that reel should be a ton more money in my opinion. You know, $100 is really a starting point for most people on reels nowadays, if you really think about it. I mean, you can go a little bit lower and depending on your budget, but $100 gets you a reel that in my opinion should be way more than $100. So the SLX by itself, awesome reel. Now you take that and you add it to the next level with adding the DC component to the reel, and I am so excited to get out and use this reel. It absolutely looks amazing. The feel on it is great. Everything is almost the same as the SLX. So if you have an SLX, the SLX DC looks almost exactly the same. There's some different color differences and whatnot, and it's a little bit bigger than the SLX itself because of that DC technology in it. Now, comparing the SLX DC to, let's say, the Curado DC, There is going to be a little bit of a difference just based on the internals within the reels themselves. So you have different internals in the Curado than you do the SLX, which in some people's opinions, they say the Curado is smoother than the SLX. Now, I haven't used the SLX DC yet as it compares to the Curado DC, so I can't tell you, but I definitely can tell you that I feel the difference between the Curado DC's smoothness and that buttery soft movement and action of that reel compared to even the normal SLX. And like I said, I love the SLX, but you can tell the difference. It's nothing bad, but you can tell, right? You're paying a premium price here and you're paying a good price here, and you're not losing quality over here. It's different quality, different technology within the equipment itself. So you're going to notice a difference between those two. Now, what I'm excited to see is there a big difference or any difference between the Curado DC and the SLX DC? Now, another thing that I did this year is the Curado DC. I got that in an 8:5 gear ratio. It's a high-speed gear ratio. When I bought it, it was going to be almost dedicated to frogging, and I really didn't use it at all for frogging last year. It was spooled up with fluorocarbon the entire year, never took it off, never put some braid on it, never did braid to fluoro, didn't mess around with it. Really, the Curado DC was paired with actually this favorite rod all year round, and it had fluoro on it, and I threw a variety of different baits with it. Heavier baits, lighter baits. I even put on a Ned head with a Rattling Ned from Guggen Baits on there, and was throwing that around and actually had some success. So really ran the gamut with the reel and the rod setup last year. Wasn't specific on anything that I was using it for. However, this year I think what I'm going to do is, like I said, pair it really either just for frogging or some heavy cover action, and then also use the other DC, the SLX DC, for flipping and stuff like that. Like I said, I've spooled them both up with braid. So they're all set to go. That's my preference. I definitely tend to lean more towards braid, and braid to a leader sometimes, but really normally I'm either straight braid or straight fluoro. As you can see, I spooled up the SLX with straight fluoro this year, and I'm going to use that and go that route again. So it's essentially the same setup that I had last year. The only difference is we switched from that Curado DC to the SLX, but same rod. It's a 7-foot medium heavy from Favorite, and then we're going DC SLX, which I also got in a high gear ratio. This is the 8:2 gear ratio. So again, a high gear ratio, and why I went with that specifically for these two reels was what I'm gonna potentially use them for: frogging, flipping, that top water bite, in scenarios where if the fish grabs that frog and starts running towards you with it, you can grab a lot of line with both of these in the higher gear ratio, catch up to those fish, and really drive that hook home. But also too, for that SLX DC, if you're flipping, same concept. Fish grabs it, starts taking off towards you, you want to be able to catch up and really stick that fish good. That's why I'm using braid. That's why I'm using a higher gear reel as well. So you might be asking, your SLX is on a rod, SLX DC is on a rod, why is your Curado not on a rod? Well, it's simple. I don't have a rod for it right now. I just picked up a new rod for this Curado DC, and what it is, it's the exact same rod as the SLX DC is going to be on. It's a SLX rod, but I went with a 7.2 heavy rod. This is a medium heavy extra fast tip. I went with a 7.2 heavy fast tipped rod for the DC, the Curado DC. So I picked up that heavy rod for the Curado just to add another heavy rod into the lineup. It's going to be my second heavy rod. I have a couple of medium heavy action rods. Now, the rest of the details on this Curado DC I can't share with you yet. I don't know its performance yet. I have to guess, and I have to be under the assumption it is going to be great because it is from Shimano. It's the exact same platform almost as that SLX, but we added that DC technology into the reel. So I can't imagine that that's going to hurt the performance of this reel. It absolutely looks amazing. Like I said, same color scheme as that SLX, but we're adding that DC concept, just a little bit of different paint touches here and there, and just a little bit of a size difference. So I hope to be able to give you guys an update in future videos on how the SLX is doing, how it's performing, how I like it. First impressions right out of the box, I absolutely love it. I mean, I'm a little bit biased because I have the SLX and I love that reel, so I just got a beefier version of it with the DC on it. But I cannot wait to start using it. I look at the weather every day hoping that it is getting warm here in northern Illinois so I can at least go out and just throw something on this SLX and throw it and get a line in the water, but it's still not possible, still too cold, still too much frozen ponds and lakes over here, so I can't get out and use it yet. But this will definitely be the first cast of 2020 will be with this SLX DC, and I hope to update you guys when I get more information on the performance and how I like using it. So stay tuned for that. So there it is, guys. I hope you liked today's video. We went over that Curado DC, we went over the SLX DC, we went over the SLX. So you guys in the comments, let me know which one you like or which one you're excited to see me use this year and why. My thoughts on it, you guys know it. I like the SLX. I love my Curado DC, but I think my favorite of the three might be that SLX DC this year. We'll see. I gotta get out and try it. All I know is I had it here in my hands. I'm working on it. I threw it on a rod. I spooled it up. That's all I can tell you guys right now. I absolutely love it. So I cannot wait to try it out this year and really show you guys its performance as it compares to the Curado DC and the non-DC SLX. So stay tuned for those videos and all of that info. If you guys liked today's video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like this video, and drop a comment letting me know what you think. Also, make sure you are in on all of the new uploads. Hit those notification bells. And in the description, make sure you check out my Instagram. That's where you guys will get sneak peeks into upcoming gear, upcoming videos, upcoming content. That's kind of where I post all my little sneak peeks and previews. So you're definitely in the inner circle in that Instagram group. If you follow me there, you get a sneak peek at everything that's coming here on this channel. So be sure to check the description for the Instagram information as well. There is also a code in the description from Tungsten. If you got all the way to the end of this video, I left a code in the description that gives you 10% off. So you'll be getting 10% off of any tungsten or any products that Tungsten sells. I left that code in the description. It is not an affiliate link. It is not a code for me. They are not sponsoring this video. I am part of their pro staff, and I do enjoy using their products, so I want to share some love with you guys here, with my followers, to give you guys the opportunity to be able to go and try some tungsten out if you haven't, or pick up some more Woo tungsten if you're enjoying it the way I am. So definitely be sure to check out the description as well for that, and hope to see you guys on the next one, and we'll talk to you later.